What's up everyone, it's Caddy with Money Vesting. So we are taking trips down memory lane because there are a lot of companies reporting earnings in the upcoming weeks. So we are pretty much going back, updating our fair values, going over our previous analyses, our thesis on these companies so that it's helpful for you guys to also see, compare and contrast where we were 6 months ago, 3 months ago versus where we are for these companies. So I did a video on Vertex Pharmaceutical already. In this video, we're going to be talking about NXP Semiconductors, ticker symbol NXPI. And again, it's a very high quality semiconductor company that provides a lot of services, high tech for IoT, automotive. We've got data servers, and of course cloud services, and a lot of other markets as well. So they do enable smarter, safer, more sustainable world through innovation. As a world leader in secure connectivity solutions for embedded applications, NXP is pushing boundaries in automotive, industrial, IoT, mobile, and communication infrastructure markets. So I have done videos on this company as well in the past on recommendations of our members, and kind of forcing me to really look at these quality companies. So thank you so much for that. Super grateful for you. Make sure that you drop a like if you enjoy this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We talk a lot about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, of course, macroeconomics, and there are over 3,700 members in our community. If you want to join, link's going to be down below, and there is a 16% annual discount that's also available for you to access and take advantage of before the month ends. So after April 30th, that discount is going to go away. So that link's going to be down below if you're interested in joining. So this right here was the video that I did. This was back in September of 2022. So about 7 months ago, we talked about NXP, and at the time the assumptions were a 12% growth rate, 14 times P multiple, 12% discount rate. Could have been a little bit higher because of the dividend yield that the company also pays. They pay a little bit over 2.5%. Margin of safety, 10%. And the fair value ended up at close to $90 per share. At the time, it was trading at 162. So obviously, it needed about a 45% downside in order for this stock to be worthwhile, the investment. Well, today it is trading at 163, so we haven't really changed much in the market price, because you can see that it's mostly been trading sideways. This right here is the area of consolidation, and you can see that it's just been like going sideways, up and down, up and down. So we've really been in that range for the last 6 months or so. But there is going to be one key assumption here, which is the 2022 revenues and net income are going to get updated, right? So you can see that from the 7 months ago analysis, we had the 2021 net income. So that number is going to get updated, and we'll see where the fair value ends up being after this analysis is updated. So first of all, they are going to be reporting earnings next week. So you can come over here and see this right here is the expectations, $3 in EPS with over $3 billion in revenue. So 3 and 3, that's what they have for Monday. So once again, they're going to report on Monday along with Vertex Pharmaceutical. That's May 1st after the markets close. So that's going to be the expectations, $3 in EPS with over $3 billion in revenue. Now going over to the actual revenues for the company, they've grown from $4.8 billion to over $13.2 billion. So very nice, consistent growth. But one of the more important points that I made in my other video from 7 months ago is the fact that their revenue is very inconsistent in the way that it grows. So what you will notice is that it actually goes up and then it goes sideways for some time, pretty much stays dormant, and then starts to spike up again and then starts to trade sideways. But more recently, in the last, I would say 3 years or so, we have seen a more consistent growth for the company, going from 8.6 billion to 13 billion. But in the past, you'll notice, 4, 5 billion, or even $4 to $6 billion over here, and then consistent and jumping up to over $9 to $8 billion, staying consistent over here, and then another jump to over $11 billion. But in the last 3 years, I would say that we have seen a little bit more of a consistent growth for the company. Gross profit has gone from 2.1 billion to over 7.5 billion. Operating income from 655 million to over $3.7 billion for the company. So overall, pretty consistent, pretty nice growth for the business. This right here is going to be profitability. Now, diluted share count is good. It's been going down from 255 million. It's a little bit higher from 9 years ago, but it is a lot lower from 2018 when the number was at 328 million. They have consistently bought back shares in more recent years than as opposed to where we were 9 years ago. So more recent trend suggests that they are consistently buying back shares. This right here is going to be net income. Very, very unpredictable, very, very inconsistent. Some years they're over 2 billion, 2.2 billion. Some years they're in the hundreds of millions. And then once again, the last couple of years, they're doing over 1.8, 2.7 billion dollars. So, this is a company that has fluctuating net income at the moment. And margins are pretty strong, as you would expect with any semiconductor company. 57% gross margins. We got EBITDA margins 38%, net income margins 21%, and very strong return on capital, equity, and assets. So efficiency wise, this company is absolutely incredible. This right here is going to be the balance sheet. So not the best, because they do have a pretty substantial amount of debt, over $11.4 billion. And that was also one of the concerns that I pointed out in my other video, with only $3.8 billion of cash. Current ratio and quick ratio are good, but the debt to free cash flow is a little bit on the high side at almost 6. We want half of that. We want under 3 for that number. And this right here is the current valuation. So it still trades at a very respectable valuation. So again, considering 6 months, the price hasn't moved much. When I did the analysis 6 months ago, it was trading at 163, and it's still trading at 163, even though we have seen some volatility. So from that video, it did drop a little bit over 27%, coming down to 130s. And then since it rallied over 49, 50%. So we have seen a lot of momentum, but on a net basis, it hasn't really moved much since September of last year. So valuation is almost the same as we analyzed 7 months ago. Now going over to the forecast, right? What is going to be the expected number for the company? This right here is going to be that compounded annual growth rate for NXPI, very much similar to Vertex Pharmaceuticals. You can see that they are expected to grow earnings from $12.66 to over $18 per share, and that's going to be a growth of just over 9.7%. So if I'm being generous today, and if I go with, let's just say, 12% growth for the company over the next 5 years in terms of earnings per share, or net income really, 12%. And we go with a P multiple, or actually, you know what? I should go with 10%. 10% is a lot better over the next 5 years in terms of net income. P multiple, I keep that consistent at 14. That's exactly where we are right now. That's going to give us a PEG ratio of 1.4, 10% margin of safety, and minus 0.5% in share buyback. And we go with a discount rate of close to 10%, because the company does have a dividend yield of 2.45%. So you can see that it's got 2.48% in dividend yield. So let's just go with 10% discount rate. We end up with a fair value of $136.34. And the fact that it's trading at 163 represents only a 16% potential downside needed in order for it to be trading at its intrinsic value, or trading at its fair value. So it can be perceived as a little bit more overvalued at the moment. Now the reason for this big change from the previous analysis, as I pointed out, is that we were using the 2021 numbers. So you can come back and take a look. 2021, the net income was 1.8 billion. 2022, the forecast was 2.1 billion, and we actually ended up at 2.7. Right, so pretty significant increase in the net income for 2022 for this company, and as a result, the EPS also jumped to $10.55, and that's why we are seeing a big upgrade on the fair value for this semiconductor company. This is the sensitivity grid. Again, you can see that for yourself based on different P multiples and different growth rates, what the market's pricing in versus what we're pricing in versus what you might be pricing in based on your growth estimates and your P multiple on the stock. So based on the technicals, I mean, we've got a very, very strong area of support sitting at close to, I would say, $134, $135. As you can see that we have gotten a couple of validations here at this price. And even on the weekly chart, you'll notice that we are coming down to that 200 simple moving average, right? So we perfectly validated that 300 SMA and even as low as that 200 SMA before getting bought up, right? So very, very nice support and that validation at those moving averages for NXPI. Even right now, you can see that we came down to that 200 SMA and the buyers really stepped in. So I would love for NXPI to drop down to 134, 135. So this right here is the area that I'm paying attention to. You can see that intersection between the 300 SMA and that previous horizontal support. And then not to mention the fair value also ends up at 136 for this company. So that really would be the price that I would be paying attention to for NXPI for the long term. But the only concern really is going to be the balance sheet and the forecasted earnings growth of about 10%. If they can hit those numbers, excellent. It's got lots of potential. But if they come in, slower, if the semiconductor market in general starts to slow down, we see a lot of earnings revisions, then obviously the assumptions and the price targets are also going to change. But for now, 134 is going to be that number to watch, and $3 in earnings per share with $3 billion in revenue expected from the company on Monday after the markets close. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and a complete update on NXPI. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, subscribe, hit that like button, the link to our Discord, Patreon down below with that 16% annual discount. And as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.